I'm Carole Ethem, and you're listening to a bonus episode of the Caretakers Journey podcast. I'm your host, and I want to welcome you to day 5 of our Caretakers 31-Day Resolve Challenge. Today is January 5th, 2025, and we are talking about something that might be the hardest resolve yet. Now, we've only gotten into this for 5 days, but this one, I'm going to tell you, it is hard, and I have struggled with it. It's all about how to delegate, and I am not very good. So grab your Post-it note and write, I resolve to delegate, sharing my caregiving tasks and responsibilities with family members or friends who offer. Now, this is only going to work if we are willing to do it, okay? If we're willing to do it and give up the control, give up the responsibility. We have to trust our family and friends, and we have to quit trying to do it all ourselves. Now, this, I told you, is what I struggle with. I have to remind myself daily of this resolve. And it is one that I am hoping I get better at in the year ahead. Now, I know that there's a lot of us out there that struggle with this, and I have a friend whose husband is bedridden. She's his primary caregiver. She provides care for him 24 hours a day. And after a year, this past spring, she began to show signs of caregivers burnout, which is a real thing, guys. As a caregiver, I have just come off a bout of caregivers burnout. So what did she do? Well, her daughter lives around the corner and convinced her mom to apply for help. So there turned out there's an insurance policy in place. My friend had not applied because it was going to take a lot of paperwork and time to apply. So she finally let her daughter step in and help her with the paperwork. And they were approved for 7 days a week care from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in their home. Now, some of you right there are going, oh my gosh, if I got that, I would be so lucky. I know it's so hard because care can be so expensive to pay for. Here's where the problem came in. The problem came when my friend wouldn't leave the house or kept stepping in instead of letting the nurse handle things. She, like some of us, me, gets so caught up in we are the only ones that can love or care or take care of our loved one that we refuse to let the people help us. And she was refusing to leave her husband's side or let the nurse do their job. It took a really hard conversation from her daughter. And then the daughter finally called me and said, will you please step in? Will you please talk to my mom? Well, a few months later, I was able to fly into town where they live, and I was visiting, and my friend actually let me take her out to lunch. She actually said, okay, the nurse can handle it for a few hours, let's go. Well, while we sat there at lunch, we were laughing, we were crying, we were talking honestly about the pressures of our caretaking journey and all of the pain and the chaos that we were both feeling. I challenged her in that moment to let the nurse help her during the day. I challenged her to go into another room. Maybe she's not going to leave the house, but go into the other room and watch TV or read a book. I even said, go for a long walk. And since you love to shop, go for the walk at the mall. Get around other people. I had challenged her also to join the women's Bible study at her church and to try to make some new friends. After I dropped her off that day, I realized that I needed to also make some changes in my caretaking journey. It was time for me to let my daughter and son help me. And for that to happen, it meant I needed to communicate more openly and more often. What changes do you need to make? What things do you need to delegate as a caregiver? Think about those things as we close out the show today. What is it that you could delegate to someone else? I cannot hire care, the daily care. I can't even hire care for my mom for a few hours. My sister and I are managing it. I'm managing it from California. She's boots on the ground in Milwaukee. And as my mom gets worse, it gets more difficult. But there are things that we can delegate because there is hospice nurses involved. There is assisted living nurses involved. And so I have been really making it a point to let the people help me. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you know a caretaker, share the show with them using the links in the show notes below. My resources for this book, for the Resolve Challenge, come from my book, Are You Ready to Find Joy When Life Gets Messy? If you want to know more about my caretaking journey, the link to purchase my book is below. And if you want an in-depth copy of the Caretakers 31-Day Resolve Challenge, join my email list. You can see that in the link below as well. And I will let you know how to get it. As I close out today's episode, I want to pray for you because I know how hard it is to let go, to pry your fingers off of something that you feel responsible for and to let someone else help you. I know for me, it feels like I'm shirking my responsibilities when I do that, but that's not what's happening. What's happening is I'm opening myself up and resolving to let other people help me. So let me pray for you. God, for the many, 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 many caregivers who are listening right now around the world, I pray for them. I pray that as they feel overwhelmed, if they have family members or friends or people who have offered to come in and help, if they have access to paid help, what a blessing. God, I pray that you will help each one of us know how to deal with our unique situations and our unique journeys of caring for our loved one. You'll let us know what we can say, please help me with, and what we need to continue to do ourselves. I pray, God, that if someone is struggling with the burnout of just being overwhelmed, that you will provide some sort of help, whether it be a friend, whether it be a family member, so that they can take a break and just walk away as somebody else, knowing that somebody else and trusting that somebody else is going to be able to care for their loved one. Thank you so much for loving us, for walking before us and beside us. And we thank you for all of these things in the name of your precious Son, Jesus. Amen. I want to also close with my blessing. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look with favor on you and give you peace. I will be back tomorrow for day 6, and then we will cover another resolve. And until then, it's all about